What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with me, your host. My name is Chad Medved, and this is another episode of I'll Call You Right Back. We were not here last week. I took a personal week. Sometimes you just got to have a week to clear your head, But I hope that people went back into the archives and picked an episode that they have not listened to, because there's a lot of good ones. Absolutely a lot of good ones. You got Sarah McAlley, who is the brothmonger. You got Kevin Drobish, who is a funeral director. Well, he's one of the big wigs at PIMS, the Pittsburgh Institute of Mortuary Science. You got Mikey and Bob, Rick Seaback, Pittsburgh Wildlife Management. There's a lot of great episodes. If you have not, if you're newer to the show, look back into the catalog, because there is some good stuff and there's a lot of good people that are doing cool things in the city. If you could, please take a second and scroll down on your podcast app that you're listening to right now and hit the subscribe button for me. That is the best way that you could help me as a podcast. That is completely free to you. Sorry, I had to clear my throat. It is not Corona. But anyway, hit the subscribe button. And if you got a second, please throw me a rating and review. The numbers keep climbing up, and it's great to see. I'm really, really happy with all the new listeners, all the new reviews that I'm getting. And that is a huge help for me. So if you got a second, by all means. I wanted to take a second to thank Turner Dairies Farms, the creators of Turner's Premium Iced Tea, which, I've been on a kick lately. I've been on a kick with the Diet Turners. And I got to thank Lysol for that. Lysol was on the podcast not long ago. He was on for episode 129, but he chose Diet Turner Tea. And I don't know if I've ever had it, and I've been drinking it ever since. Pretty damn good. So shout out to Turner's. And what more could you want in the world than delicious limited edition milks? The chocolate banana milk that is out right now is absolutely, drying up, if you will. I don't think that there's any left. I know that I went to Speedway the other day and I bought the last bottle, but they just did a little pre-release or a little preview of the milk that's coming up next. And I believe that's on the 24th. It is going to be cookies and cream. And cookies and cream was a flavor that they released before, but it absolutely is up there on the list. For me, I'm telling you, birthday cake, the chocolate marshmallow, and I think it's cookies and cream right after that. So that's coming up. So go down to your local store and tell them that you want the limited edition Turner milk in there. All right, so everyone else, I wanted to take a minute to ask for some assistance. So the podcast, I talk to people about what they do and how they get to that point in life. And, I try to get a little bit diverse, but for October, for the last couple years, I have been trying to shift the focus to, spooky related stuff, Halloween related stuff, October-y vibes. So if anyone that is listening knows some people that could put me in contact, there's a couple people that I have on my list that I would like to talk to. I'm looking for a taxidermist. I'm looking for someone who stuffs dead animals. I'm curious about it. I would like to, talk to someone about how they got into that. So if anyone knows any taxidermists, please reach out. I'm also looking for someone who has lived in a haunted house. You take it for what it is. If someone has a good story that you think is authentic, point them to my direction. If it's someone that's just lying about shit, I could smell the deceit. So do not, if it's someone that's genuine, I would love to talk to him. And the last person that I would love to, try to talk to is someone that has any stories that involve aliens. If you know someone that has been, has had an experience with a UFO or something like that, I'm looking for those three categories, if you could help me out with that. But other than that, the reason that everyone is here this week, we have another episode. Episode 133 is going to be with Charlie Garcia. Charlie Garcia is the owner and the creator of Immortal. Immortal is a clothing brand from Pittsburgh. Technically Charlie grew up in Brooklyn, but he goes to school at Pitt. So I would say, it's from Pittsburgh, but it's a sick brand. Brandon from OneUp, he turned me on to Charlie. He told me, this is a younger dude. He's 21. He is, kind of just getting into this stuff, and he's making some cool stuff. And so I went over to his Instagram page at Immortal_PGH, and I checked out his, the products that he's released already, because if it's not good, then it ain't good. But this stuff is, I like his stuff. I really do like the stuff that he's putting out. And I thought it was pretty sick. So I was like, yeah, I would definitely like to talk to him. I'd like to know what this dude is about. It's always interesting to talk to, a younger person and kind of get their scope on how they approach things. And it's such a, you'll hear us talk about it in this podcast. I asked Charlie, what makes you different whenever you make a brand compared to the 1,000 other local brands in the city. And it's pretty cool to hear people's different responses. And Charlie was a cool dude, came over, we talked about, all kinds of shit, from how someone kind of, first of all, we talk about what it's like to grow up in Brooklyn. I think that it would be super wild to live in Brooklyn, in a big city, and I don't know what that would even be like. I grew up in a smaller, somewhat smaller area, but I just, we talk about what New York life is like for a younger person. We talk about how someone from Brooklyn ends up in Pitt, and kind of what led him to that. And then we kind of talk about his life and how it kind of, is progressing now, and where Immortal came in to this whole timeline. Because like I said, it's some good stuff. It really is. If you could hop over to their Instagram at ImmortalPGH, at Immortal_PGH. Sorry about that. At IMMORTAL_PGH. And check out what they have. Their fall and their winter line is going to be dropping here soon, and I'm excited to see where this dude goes, and kind of what he does with his brand in the next year, 2 years. And I thought it was a great conversation. So without further ado, episode 133 of I'll Call You Right Back podcast with Charlie Garcia of Immortal.
Telephone.
Hello?
Telephone.
I'll call you right back. Call you right back.
Telephone.
I'll Call You Right Back podcast. So the reason that I don't have an Arizona tea is because I went to 3 different stores.
Yeah.
None of them had
Iced iced tea?
Well, they all had Arizona iced tea,
Okay,
but
they just have raspberry.
They had no raspberry.
Raspberry's kind of a harder flavor. That's all me.
I Googled it because I didn't know if I thought you might have been mistaken, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen it, because I frequent Arizona tea.
Yeah.
I like their green tea.
Yeah.
And it's I just couldn't find it, and I was like, is this real? And then it was, but
yeah,
I didn't have it.
Arizona's from Brooklyn, so every single deli in Brooklyn, for the most part, every single corner store has it's just, there's one whole wall filled with every single different kind of Arizona iced tea. My honest to God favorite flavor is kind of an exclusive one they had, which is raspberry iced tea and then lemonade.
Really?
And they had this, it's a really cool bottle design and everything, and that's my favorite. But I think they stopped selling it. Also, here in Pittsburgh, it's just not as common.
So Arizona's from Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's from Brooklyn, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Which is kind of, I don't know.
That's pretty
I'm
wild.
a big rep where you come from kind of thing. And
you grew
Brooklyn.
you were born in Brooklyn?
No, I was born in Los Angeles. I grew up there, and I was born there, and I lived there till I was 7. And then my mom got a different job in New York, and so we moved to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I lived in Brooklyn my whole life until I came to Pitt. And then my freshman year at Pitt, my family moved to London. So now I don't even sometimes I get to go back. I have my best friends are there and stuff, and I get to stay with them.
Yeah.
But that's where like I kind of like that's where I developed and everything. Like, Brooklyn is really where like I consider my developing and everything.
Yeah. What do your parents do that you were moving around a bunch?
So my mom works for Cartoon Network.
Really?
Yeah, so she did licensing and marketing for Cartoon Network, and then now that she's in London, she works for Barbie, like Mattel, and, like Hot Wheels and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and my dad's an artist, so he's just a painter. So like, it doesn't really matter where he is; he's just gonna do his stuff wherever he goes.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So you have a very, very like creative upbringing, I would say, right?
It's kind of funny because they kind of like repress that a little
Really?
bit. Yeah, because like I mean, when I was like a little kid in LA, like my mom would always be traveling. My mom traveled like for months on end. So as kids, my dad had to take care of us a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And so he would just put us up in this like art studio.
Yeah.
And so we would just be hanging and like we'd just be like working at the art studio and stuff. And like I'd paint, and then like I think one day my mom tells me like the story that like one day like after she came home from work and we were talking at dinner, like I was like, oh, I want to be like an artist. And like she looked at my dad and my dad looked at her. They're like, you cannot be an artist, just because like being an artist is really hard.
Yeah,
Being an artist,
yeah.
like it's a hardship. Like my dad, like he's not as successful as like I don't know like Cause or anything, but like
Yeah.
I love his art because like it's been around me my whole life. But it's definitely a little. It's hard.
It has
It's like
its
a hard
peaks and valleys,
yeah,
for sure.
No, absolutely, and like so I don't think that's why. I don't know. They kind of like they're just like nah. like you could do whatever you want, but
yeah, it's like whenever parents go through the struggle because they don't want their kids to have to struggle.
literally exactly.
So that's what it is.
They don't want me to like struggle like my dad did, but like I don't know, my dad's
Seems fun. Kinda.
no. I mean, it seems fun, but also like my
Not
dad's
fun.
his experiences and his connections,
Yeah,
and
it's
like his like social
interesting.
skills. It's very unique.
Unique. Yeah, that's a good way
So-
to put it. How old are you?
I'm 21. I'm gonna be 22 in actually like a week.
Week. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
No, thank you.
So now, whenever you're like growing up and shit like that, are you like, do you have an idea of what you want to be?
I mean, it's changed throughout my entire life.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel well. The only reason I ask that is like I usually ask that beforehand. Actually, pause this. First
Okay.
things first. I do an opening segment called
Yep.
"What's in the Cup." What's in the cup? What's in your cup?
it is Turner's raspberry tea.
Yeah,
I mean, we discussed.
Yeah, Turner's raspberry tea.
Oh yeah, no, it's amazing. Like, I this is the first time I've ever had it. I drink their lemonade all the time.
Yeah.
Like, without even knowing that like they sponsor this. And
Yeah.
I love their lemonade. Like, I
that's
buy
good.
like the mini cartons.
I've been
and
onto
it's
their
so
diet
good.
lately.
Oh really?
The diet tea is good.
Okay.
I've been trying to stay away from the sugar. I'm
No,
a
I
little
feel
bit
that.
older, so I'm just trying to get out of the way of it.
Yeah.
But diet Turner's tea. Shout out to Turner's. But
Yeah.
anyway, the reason I asked you that in the beginning is because like I feel like it's super unique to have like a parent that's an artist and like was he a full-time artist the whole time you were growing
His
up?
whole
Okay.
entire life, he's been I mean, like for like
Since
his
you
whole
can
life,
remember.
he wanted to be an artist. Like he my dad's from Spain, so he grew up in a very small town 3 hours north of Madrid called
Yeah.
Palencia.
Palencia.
It's Valencia, but with a P.
Yeah.
Very small town. And he wanted to be an artist, which was like his parents didn't want him to. I mean, his dad was like a sheep herder.
Yeah.
His mom was like a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
And he saved up. He went to like the army for a little bit in Spain, and then he saved up and was able to do like schooling in Barcelona.
Yeah.
And so he did an apprenticeship in Barcelona, and from there it just like he bounced all over the world.
That's pretty
for the most part.
interesting.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Now, I mean, and it's also the other side of the coin. Like, it sounds like what your mom does is like pretty interesting as well.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it's like corporate also with like it's corporate type, but it's a different level of
Yeah.
just like corporate. So
Yeah.
you kind of have both ends of the workforce.
no,
growing
absolutely.
up.
And I think that's why they like go off one another all the time, like with
Yeah.
ideas and stuff. And like she critiques his paintings, like whenever she's willing to show us like her work, like the products that she makes.
Yeah.
Like we're always critical of that too. Like I'm more so critical. My little brother doesn't care as much, but
Yeah.
like.
It's interesting though. So
Yeah.
so I mean, if you're growing up, whenever you're younger, like what are you doing whenever you're younger? Like what are your hobbies? Are you playing sports or
When I
are
was
you-
younger?
Yeah.
So, I played baseball in high school, and I was forced into soccer. Spanish family,
Yeah.
soccer's the go-to. I was never as good. I was like playing keeper,
Yeah.
like Iker Casillas of like the Spanish national team and everything. Like he was the goat. So I wanted to be like Iker Casillas. I gave up on that. I just did like other clubs. I did a little bit of theater and stuff. I was into that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
That's sick.
Yeah, no, yeah, and
That's
then
my biggest regret that I talk about on here is like I interview all these people and like you hear everyone's life and like I've done so much random shit, but I never did like a play in high school and I regret
Really?
it so much.
I actually, ironically, like 6th grade, I did a monologue of Donald Trump.
Really?
Yeah, like and that's before, like that was when he was a celebrity,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it like. I just like because my mom still has that video. I'm just like, please delete this video.
Yeah,
like I know
yeah.
this never comes back to me.
I know.
Like it's that kind of like irony.
So coming up in school, like, do you have an idea of like what you want to be?
It's kind of changed throughout my whole lifetime. Really, I'm a political science and economics major, but I'm also a film minor.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, I only added the econ major last year because I realized that like there is a fashion industry, there's a fashion world, and I would like to like honestly that's what I want to do now. But like my kind of starting off was like I was ready to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like but the kind of law I wanted to do was copyright and IP. So that's like I get to work with artists, designers, like to protect their like interests and their designs and their drawings. Like you see it all the time. Like there's this really cool internet blog that's called The Fashion Law, and it talks about like how like brands like Zara rips off like Chrome Hearts and like stuff like that, and like
Yeah.
Supreme, and how they can solidify their box logo, but like in Italy, because they never like made the copyright for it in Italy, that and it can be Supreme Italia, which is technically still Supreme, but it's not the like Supreme that like people know.
Wow.
So
that's pretty interesting. I
that
never
was
knew
the
that.
that was the law I wanted to go into, but law school is so expensive.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
like $300K that I'm going to be in debt to. And like I was talking to someone who works at Deloitte, like an older friend, and like he was like, honestly, like to be like one of those like 6-figure lawyers and everything, you have to be one top 10, like you have to go to top 10 law school, which like I'm not smart enough to go to a top 10 law school. And then
Yeah.
2, you have to be top 10 in your class wherever you go, which like also that's
For sure.
a struggle. And like, or you're walking out with like 60K a year or 70K, which is not bad, but you're going into law. And like also, since I started Immortal, fashion has been, I mean, it just opened so many doors for me. It's introduced me to so many things, and like I love that. I want to be able to like, I want to keep doing that, even in a corporate sense, because like my mom is like does it in a corporate sense, but she's all right. Like she's doing well. Like I
Yeah.
kind of want to like go work into a larger industry, like understand like the bigger mindset of a fashion brand.
Yeah.
Take what I can from it, and honestly, just start like either hopefully if Immortal's still going by that point, take it and like put it all into Immortal, or like I have other ideas for brands too that I could do and
That'd
do
be
that.
sick.
Yeah.
Now, for you to kind of like want to get involved with this, like, how do you end up in Pittsburgh from Brooklyn?
So, I wanted to get as far from home as possible, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, why is that?
I mean, have you ever seen like Friday Night Lights, like the TV show?
Yes.
So like, I don't know, later on in the seasons, like the daughter goes to college, but she's able to like come back whenever she wants.
Yeah.
That was like my deepest fear. I never wanted to give myself the sense of security that like if things get rough, like I can just go home to mom and dad.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want like I'm a pretty independent person, and I wanted to like push myself to go somewhere else and like kind of be far where like I couldn't. But my dad, he's like a little bit traditionalist. He wanted me to like stay close to home in case of like emergencies or anything. So I couldn't apply to LA schools, but I was in between University of Miami and Pitt.
Why Pitt? What is Pitt? What's appealing about Pitt?
So Pitt was the last school I ever toured. Like I didn't even know about Pittsburgh. I didn't know about University of Pittsburgh. I mean, I knew about Pittsburgh because one of my close friends back home, his dad was from here, and like
Yeah.
talked up like the Penguins and everything. But like that's the extent that I knew about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And we flew out here, and everyone was so nice. It was so weird. We were so like being from New York. Like people would, like curse you out on the street. Like who cares? Like we're used to that. But like everyone was like polite, had manners, said thank you, like opened the doors, like at the hotel, at all the restaurants, at like.
It's
the
a different
airport.
vibe for
It's
sure.
absolutely.
It's
And
a different vibe because
yeah.
Pittsburgh is, it's a big small city.
Yeah.
And New York is just big as fuck,
Yeah.
and it's
And I had to go to a city for college because like I couldn't end up being in like the middle of nowhere suburbs. I've lived in a city for the majority of my life. I feel like
yeah. That's
I
a
don't
good
know, I'm not a
point.
hiker or anything. Like
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know how to drive.
Living in New York and going to someplace like, have you ever went to like Slippery Rock?
No, honestly.
So like Slippery Rock, I went there for a year, and it was just like you're just up in your own little area. It's like
Yeah.
there's nothing really around it.
Yeah.
And it's like me, that's like what I love. But for
Okay.
someone like growing up in a city,
I need the noise.
Yeah, like-
I need like the constant movement, or else I'll
it
go
would be
crazy.
interesting. Like I have no like I have no frame of reference of what it's like growing up in a city. And I mean, are you like, is it like stereotypical like movie type shit? Like, are you like walking to high school and like?
I'm taking the subway to high school.
Oh yeah,
I take the subway to high school.
Wow,
that's really funny because I ask a lot of my friends here, or like kind of when I go out on dates.
Yeah,
like
dude,
a lot of
like,
people aren't from cities.
I rode a bus like 25 minutes
Exactly.
to my school.
Or like what it's like to be like in a high school with like lockers.
How many people did you graduate with?
100.
100.
100. I was a small charter school in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Are you on like some are you what is the extracurricular shit in high school in New York? Like, what are you doing?
So that's also, I mean, it's cool because I had to start a lot of it.
Yeah.
We didn't have a baseball team, so I petitioned and signed I got like signatures to start a baseball team because I was in love with baseball in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a team because my school was also middle school to high school if you wanted to stay. So
Yeah.
you got middle school and you had an automatic entrance to high school. And we had like the International Baccalaureate program, which is like the international version of APs, which are like.
Would you go to like a good school?
I consider it a good school, but it's
Yeah.
actually kind of interesting. Charter schools are awful. Charter schools are a money scheme. It's like an evil.
Well, the charter schools around here are like, I feel like that they're like known to be like not the best schools.
And I was always misled because my charter school,
Yeah.
half my teachers came from Ivy Leagues, which is so weird because like you don't get that normally. And then also we all had computers, and it was a very nice high school.
Yeah.
And middle school.
Yeah.
But then when I traveled, because we were in the charter school league for baseball, I would travel and these kids wouldn't even have jerseys, man. Like they wouldn't have anything. They would have to borrow our bats and stuff. And like
Yeah.
I have no issue with that, but like it kind of puts it into perspective. Like the New York public system is awful. There's actually a really cool podcast that they talk about that and everything. But it's terrible, and it causes. I mean, I thought I was all right. Like I thought all charter schools were cool. And, like I thought my school was sick. But like
Yeah.
a lot of people like charter schools are very flawed. They just take taxpayers' money and like don't really get every single thing. They can make their own curriculum, but like they don't do much with it.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I just never really knew too much about it. So you petitioned for a baseball team. Like, do you have, like, are you like a skateboarder type kid? Or are you like.
My friends are all skaters.
Okay.
I liked baseball. I love baseball. I
Yeah.
played soccer occasionally. I was like kind of one of those like want to be overachiever kids. Like
Yeah.
I had friends that were skaters, and they were just like, they were so cool with what they did. And I was like, I know I can't do that. Like I'll skate around with them. Like I bought a board and I just skate around. Like,
Yeah.
cause I like that kind of stuff, but I can't do tricks. I'm not that good at it. Like I wish I could do it more.
I
Like
get
right
it.
now, like
I
during
get it.
quarantine, all my friends got skateboards and are doing these crazy tricks. And like, I'm enjoying myself just like skating around with people. Like it's nice to just like ride on a board, but I don't want to ever like add myself onto like the skater community. Cause like they are their community. I respect the shit out of their community.
Yeah.
And
It's a sticky
I admire
place to
from
be.
afar. I admire from afar. Like
Yeah.
really.
Because you'll get thrown out.
Yeah, no, I've dealt with it, and like I've seen the people, and I've like talked to people about it, but I
They're
respect
gatekeepers.
it.
It's all right. It's
Yeah.
understandable. Now, I mean, like, what is like the reason I'm asking you this is like, what's like a Friday night there? Like I know that
Brooklyn?
like here in Pittsburgh, like you can go to the South Side. The city is dead. Like there's not really shit to do like
Yeah.
in the city. And if you're not like a drinker, like you don't really have shit to do really around here.
Yeah.
But for you in Brooklyn, like I feel like it's New York, the city that never sleeps.
Yeah.
Like what kind of shit are you able to do?
It's like a pretty like on a weekend, like
Yeah,
in
like,
high school.
Are
like,
you guys
especially,
just
like,
having like parties and shit?
I mean, like we call it freeze. So it's like if your parents are gone, you call it a free.
Oh,
so
okay.
it'd be like you pregame low key with like your friends, like in your basement somewhere. Even if your parents are there, like you're just pregaming. Then you go out and you go to a party. Like I was in Brooklyn, so I lived in Cobble Hill. You go hop out to Park Slope because that's where all like mostly like the richer parents are, and like they would leave and go out for the night, so kids would like throw things, and then.
Yeah.
You'd meet people there, and they'd be like, "Okay, we're going to the city." You take like a train all the way up to like Harlem, where there's another free going on. You're there to like 1, and if you want to keep going, you keep going. But like if
You guys aren't going to like clubs and shit though, right? Like,
I mean, not really. Like,
yeah, I guess you're young.
I
yeah.
look really young.
Yeah,
There-
yeah,
I
that's a
was
good
never
point.
gonna get into any bars and stuff. I know like all like the
New York
really
is
attractive
fascinating
girls
to me.
could get
That's
in.
why like I'm asking you about it because
Yeah.
it's like I have no idea about it. I've only got to spend like 2 days at a time there for like a couple different times, and it's just so overwhelming. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
even imagine like
I love it.
just living there.
Oh, it's so cool.
Now, go ahead.
No, please.
I was saying like coming to Pittsburgh. I mean, if you're coming here, like what is, like what's, did you come here and tour this place before you moved to here?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I toured Pitt before I came. And
But was it just like a couple day tour you did Pitt? Like you didn't stay in the city for like,
I stayed downtown. We toured Oakland, and then we like traveled around Southside and Strip District.
Okay.
That's enough for me.
But you didn't have no friends here or anything?
No,
right?
I didn't know anyone here.
Okay.
I knew nothing. My mom and I knew nothing. It was like her looking at Yelp reviews to like see what
Wow.
the next like nice restaurant is and everything.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. But like that's why I liked it. Like because the fact that it has so many little kind of neighborhoods, but it, like they're so big in a way.
Yeah.
I need that. Like if I ever get sick of Oakland, I'm popping out to Southside to go thrifting.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing that. If I want to go have some like really cool food or something, I go to Strip District. If I'm feeling like I used to live in North Oakland, so I would just walk to Shady Side sometimes, like to like cool off, to like blow off steam, like while I'm studying and everything. Like
That's pretty sick.
It's so nice that you can go into so many different areas.
For someone to like live in New York and like kind of like have this like it's definitely way smaller than New York, but like the feel of it has to be like so much more approachable.
Yeah.
Like you could go around and see everything, and like that's pretty sick.
And
to
like
think
some
about.
of my friends they don't leave Oakland, but like I'm like Pittsburgh is sick. Like you have to go check out these places. Like whenever I can, I take my friends down to like Southside. We go to Zed's, we go to OneUp, we go to Highway Robbery. Like to go thrifting because I really love thrifting. So like that's like really what I love to do like at my spare time.
Probably can't get shit nowadays because everyone's on that crazy thrift.
You'd be surprised in New York it's worse.
I bet it is. I bet it's terrible everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I know a couple people.
Here they have Zed's supplies with such dope stuff.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like going to like
a Goodwill,
like a Goodwill.
Yeah,
like people are
going to
scalping
$5
that
fine.
shit.
Yeah, no, that you kind of have to come to terms like that you're not gonna get that. But like Zed's has like the $10 rack.
Yeah,
that's enough for me. And like I used to work at House of Vane. Do you know like House of Vane? It used to be on Center Ave.
House of Vane.
Jerome Roberts. He's really cool. He was like there. I think he was posted up there for like a year or so. I used to work
House
there.
of Vane. They put out the Boys in the Hood KKK shirt.
Yeah, literally like Jerome.
Yeah,
coolest dude ever. I used to live like right next there. You'd have a $5 tea like box.
Yeah,
you'd like shuffle through, and all his prices were like really valid. So it's like, sure, it's assorted and it's not a Goodwill, but it's still pretty affordable. Yeah. And it was like really cool stuff. So
that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Now, for you to come here and like go to school at Pitt, so whenever you went to school, like what was your major? Like at first?
When I first came to school?
Yeah.
Poli-sci.
So
I was just poli-sci and film minor.
Now how do you like get into the political science end of it all? Like, were you always into politics?
No, my mom was into politics, and I talked to a lot of lawyers back home, and they're like, just go with like a kind of easier major to get you into law school, and that's it. And like politics interests me, and some of the class, Pitt, it's cool. Like
the reason I ask you that is I had no attachment to politics whatsoever until 2016, whenever shit got crazy.
Yeah,
and it's interesting for me to ask, to talk to someone, because like I see what you do. Like I see you have the clothes and I see you do all that stuff, and it's just interesting to hear that you were like a political science major. And like the dude that I talked to from that quick trip, his name's Bo. He just kind of came out of nowhere and just opened this up, and he was a political science major. And like for me, it's the most fascinating thing in the world because, like, all through high school, everyone's like, you got to figure out what the fuck you want to do. You got to know. And it's like in high school, politics was like literally the last thing that I would have picked. Really? I would have been a fucking garbage man.
Brooklyn, everything is politics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone talks about politics. It's like such a big thing out in New York, like being politically active, especially like I grew up doing like the Black Lives Matter movement and everything. And like I would go and protest and everything. Yeah. And Eric Gardner was killed and everything. And like it's really important. Like our local government isn't also that great. Like I was talking about, the public school system sucks, and like that's politics. Like you have to be like, to change that, you have to be a councilman, and then like you can run for mayor and everything. There's a big divide and everything. And it was interesting to me also because I wanted to be in law. I wanted to go to law school. I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah. So politics is normally like that first start.
That's interesting.
And,
that's definitely interesting. Now, coming to school here and like you're in Pitt, like are you still in school now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my senior year.
So your senior year, and before you, like, how long were you just political science before you added in the extras?
Like, I had film off the bat. I wanted to be a film minor from the beginning because I always I really love film and everything. I added econ my first semester sophomore year, because that's sort of when Immortal started picking up.
Yeah.
And I like realized that if I ever wanted to like go into a fashion brand, like I went to a career fair, and American Eagle was one of the vendors, and I wanted to talk to them. And they were like, okay, 1 year as freshman, so like we can't really talk to you right now, but also like you're a political science major, so we don't really have anything that would relate to a political science major. So they could like sometimes like companies don't even give you a second look, because if you have nothing to do with business in your major, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's fucked
matter.
up.
Like that's all they could see. It was my name, my year, and my major.
It's terrible.
It's like
The system's so weird.
It's actually kind of ironic though, because I got the American Eagle internship this summer. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it got sadly canceled due to coronavirus and everything, but
That's a shame.
the fact that you can make that jump, like I was there for that second. Like,
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's sick. When did Immortal come to play? Like when did that come into play?
So, I went to the career fair in September, and
Of what year?
2017.
Okay.
2017. I had the idea of Immortal. Like I did sketches in my notebook, like of like little like doodles and everything.
Where's the name come from? Start with that.
So, ironically, I'm a huge Travis Scott fan, and in Birds in the Trap Sig McKnight, and there's one song called First Take.
Yeah.
And in one lyric that I just love, because I love Travis Scott because it's like he brings such an atmosphere, especially with his concerts and everything. Like I know he's overpopulated now with like the McDonald's and everything.
Yeah, it's wild right now.
Oh yeah, like it's kind of it makes it hard to like be a fan, like, and like
I get
people
it.
like everyone's a fan now, so
I
like,
get it.
Yeah. But he had a song called First Take, which wasn't even one of the most popular ones, but he says a lyric like, "You can't kill the vibe, it's immortal." And I thought I just loved that line. It kind of like resonated with me. I was like,
I get it,
dude. I want that vibe. Like I like keeping that vibe alive, and also like with thrifting and everything, clothes are like they last a lot longer. So in a way, it was kind of like I was fearful of like death in a way. And I wanted to create something with like that would be associated with me that lasts forever. That literally is immortal. So
yeah, that's a good
how I
way the
started.
name comes about.
Yeah.
It's always interesting how people pick their names.
Yeah.
It's like the most important thing you have is your name and your logo.
Yeah.
So it's like it's always I'm always curious how people come up with shit.
That it lose like that one song lyric.
Yeah, it
and,
just
like,
pops into your head and one day you're just like, that's it.
And when my freshman year, I went to like the club fair and everything, and like at least like one thing that my high school was good for is that you could start, it was so new, so like you could start anything. So I petitioned to do a soccer team or a baseball team, and then I also did I started the intramural soccer club. So like anyone who couldn't make the soccer team, like I was on the soccer team, but like anyone who couldn't make it, we'd have like mini games of 6 in like the local park, and like I organized all that like team by team, what your team name is, like, and made a bracket and everything, had prizes and everything at the end of like the semester and everything.
That's sick.
No, yeah, and like I liked being able to like kind of create my own way with that. And so I came to Pitt, and it's huge. It's like 16,000 kids, and everyone, it was overwhelming a bit. And like I signed up for a bunch of emails, but nothing seemed genuine. Because like right when I walked in, there was 20 other freshmen with me, and I feel like I couldn't really do something. So I was like, I turned 19 years old, and I was like, crap, like I have nothing to show for myself.
Yeah.
I have literally nothing that I can like put right now. Like if I were to be gone right now, there's nothing to show for it. And I was like, what is something that I know quite well about that I can do, that I can start right now? And streetwear. And Immortal wasn't always an idea. I had like my little logo, like the eye logo that we have in my notebooks and everything. And so when I turned 19, I like took some money and I made just a long sleeve. I made a long sleeve. Like originally we were called Immortal Inc.
Yeah.
Immortal Inc. And then the huge eye on the back. And I wore it around. I just wore it around. Like my friends were like, dude, that's sick. Like I like that long sleeve. It's so big. Like it's very simple considering like the stuff that we make now. But like I was like, oh, okay. And so then I did my first collection, which like when you're like first thinking about clothes and everything, like I grew up in New York, so I was always around Palace Supreme, all these like streetwear brands and everything that were like that would be your idea of what it was. So I was like, okay, I have to make one design, and I have to have like 5 different colorways of it, and like 40 different other items, or I have to have a selection, which is like that's wrong, because like people don't understand how expensive it is to make clothes, like especially off the bat, like to produce it up front. Mm-hmm. And so I talked to one of my mom's friends who she used to work at Gucci, and I was like, okay, can you give me like any tips? Because like I'm kind of curious, like how she's like, you should start off with a very basic selection: 1 t-shirt, 1 long sleeve, 1 hoodie, maybe even just 2 items, and like that's it. That's like the biggest advice that she could give me, and it was facts. So I made 1 t-shirt with like it was a black t-shirt, orange lettering, a long sleeve, and a hoodie. And I went to a local Pittsburgh, like I went to Underground Printing, which was like on Pitt's campus. And they were like, because I made 12 hoodies, 14 long sleeves, and 22 shirts. And they were like, it's going to be $1.4 thousand. And I was like, damn, like I don't really have all of that. So I reached out to like family members, and I was like, I didn't know anything about business. Like, granted, I did not know anything. I was like, hey, I need like, I had like $500. I had like $500, $600. And like, I got them to like, so like individually, like each of them threw like $100. I'll be like, I'll give you 50% interest. Not knowing that like that's $50. That's $50 my profit.
Yeah.
And so then I was like on my floor and everything, and we did a little, I don't know, we had like a freshman year like floor event, and they wanted to do a fashion show, so I presented my new collection through that, and then I sold it afterwards, and then I sold out that day of everything.
Wow.
And it was so satisfying to like kind of like Venmo all these people that like, oh, this is just one of like Charlie's interests. Like, this is just like, this will pass. Like,
Yeah,
we'll get it
that's
back,
pretty
but like,
cool.
probably not. To like Venmo them like that amount of money plus 50% interest on that one collection. And like for me, it was crazy because I was like, okay, like, I did it all on Google Design. Like, I don't know Photoshop or Illustrator all that well. Like, now I have a better understanding, but then like I had no idea.
Yeah. Gotta
And-
start somewhere.
Yeah, so I sold out my first collection, and I was like, okay, like, guess I should keep going with it. And now it's almost 4 years.
4 years of doing this.
Yeah.
Now, I'm trying to think. I'm not even sure how I came across. Oh yeah, Brandon told me about
Yeah.
you from OneUp.
Yeah.
And then I looked at all your stuff, and I saw that you had like the cut and sew, like cigarette
Yeah,
tee.
the SIG button up.
Yeah, like that. Like that stuff interests me. Like that's cool that like you get into it
Yeah.
to like a different degree.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's like a pain in the ass to deal
Well,
with.
textiles, that was, I mean, I always wanted to, but my partner, Nolan Bay, who's actually like one of my best friends,
Yeah.
he's one of the reasons why I like Pitt so much.
How did
because-
this come in? How did he get involved with this? Was he involved from the beginning?
No, so the first collection, it was like just me.
Okay.
But Nolan was always one of my close friends, and we actually, Pitt used to have like this thing called Pitt Start. So you come for like 2 days during the summer and like get to like know Pitt and like all of Pittsburgh. And I was having a bad like Pitt Start. Like I just broke up with my high school girlfriend. I was bummed out. I did not find anyone who I was really vibing with. And then I was like, so I was being subtle with it. So like I like streetwear, and like I'm my number one fan of like my favorite brand is Palace, like Palace skateboards. So I had a Palace hat, like a little P hat on, and I was walking around. I was like bummed out, and I got to like halfway through the day, and like I was texting my mom. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like this sucks. And some kid like pokes me on the shoulder, and he's like, dude, and I'm like, he like points to his shoes, and he's wearing the Palace Adidas shoes, and it's Nolan. And like that's how like our friendship kind of blossomed. Like he was into the same stuff as me, and then we were like comparing like our collections and our clothing stuff. And he was always into like streetwear and stuff. So it was really cool. And so when I started Immortal, he was very judgmental. Like he was very critical, which is great. Now he's a part of it.
Yeah.
And he saw the success of the first collection, so he's like, dude, can like I work with you? I was like, of course. Like I'm not an artist. I'm not like. I don't really like. I'm a creative to an extent, but not really. Like I'm a guy who wanted to make clothes. Like who had an idea to make clothes, and I did not want to close that off to anyone because like that's something that kind of is closed off. Like people like as they grow up and they go to college and like they do all like the official stuff, they close themselves off to the idea that they can't do a creative aspect in their life anymore. And I think that's awful. Like I think like that's the thing that can like make you like keep going. That's like the thing that you look forward to like doing like at the end of the day or during the day, like in between breaks. And so I was like, absolutely. And like Nolan knew streetwear, so I was like, that's gonna like this will work out. And so we dropped our second collection in January. And I did majority of it, but he
2018?
2018, yeah. It was spring summer 2018, and he came out with our it's like we call it our Dogo, but it's our dice logo, which people really like. So the whole theme of the collection was the birds by Alfred Hitchcock.
Okay.
So I had like a white T-shirt that was vintage Alfred Hitchcock. I had a OG logo, like purple long sleeve, like the I logo hat, and then this dice logo crew neck with like an embroidered dice, which it spelled out Immortal, and then the last icon was like a crow. And I mean, I also love Pittsburgh so much because of how much it connects you to everything. So I started thrifting at House of Vane like freshman year, like first month.
That's a thrift shop?
It was a thrift shop.
Okay,
they actually
yeah.
closed down sadly, but I think he's moving to a different location. But
Okay.
he was on Center Ave, so like I went over and like I got to know Jerome really well, and he supported me like with Immortal and everything, and like he had his own brand going on. Like he just called it House of Vane and everything.
Yeah.
And he was just super supportive, and like I was like, these guys at Underground Printing, like they don't really get my creative aspect. They don't really want to like take the effort to like make the things I want to make. Like I want to do embroidery, but like with them you have to make like 50 minimum, and like it sucks. And he was like, don't even worry about it. Like don't even trip. Writes down on a piece of paper an address, like in Oakmont. And I was like, oh geez, like I don't know where this is gonna take me. Like I have no idea.
Yeah.
And we went out to Oakmont. Lovely little shop called Embroidery of the Heart. Her name is Teresa. She's still we still work with her today because she's awesome. And she did like those crew necks for us, and it was like a nice embroidery and everything, and like that was cool because there was no minimum.
Yeah.
Like she just did it for us. Like, and she saw like we were kids, like we were like younger at that point, but she was like she believed in the vision, and like definitely like she normally does like high school merch and stuff.
Yeah, like Letterman jackets.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
shit.
So
that's sick.
But she would do the embroidery for us, and so. Thanks to Jerome, I was able to get an embroidery connection. Like thanks to Brandon, I use our studios. Like
Yeah.
shout out Tyler, he's the goat. So he prints like on our shirts and stuff.
Wait, what? Our house?
Yeah, our house.
Oh yeah,
like, Tyler
Rula.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's who prints all my stickers.
yeah, exactly. He prints our like he printed our stickers first, and then he like started doing T-shirts, and he does
Yeah,
a lot
he's
of
a
our
gangster.
T-shirts. No, he's the best.
Mhm.
And so it's all those connections, those like mini connections that you get to help make this brand. Like we like to consider ourselves like the community-based brand, a community-based brand. Damn, I'm tripping up, but
It's all right. It's
like-
it's interesting the connections you can make in the city, you know, and it's hard to like navigate through all the bullshit because there's a lot of people doing the same shit, and it's like not genuine. It's just
Yeah.
like people that are just like, you know, I don't know, like whatever they want to do. It's just not what you're vibing with, but it's like if you could navigate through this city with all these people, it's like
Yeah.
there's so many great people
Individuals
around.
Yeah, no,
You know what I mean? And it's like it's cool because like, you know,
they
everyone's
have a vision.
intertwined with people.
Yeah, and they have a vision, and like they're doing their own like.
And you
they're
could
doing their
you could
hustles.
tell you could tell who is like really doing it.
Yeah.
Like if I looked at your stuff and like I didn't think it looked good, like I
Yeah.
wouldn't have you on.
Yeah,
But
I appreciate
like,
that.
like yeah, like
Yeah.
I like you could tell like that's super sick. Like
Thanks.
I like the quality of a lot of the stuff that you have, and like
yeah, I was gonna like take it off. Like we like that's also the thing. It's like we started off so young. So we started off like I made my first sweatshirt on Gildan. Like everyone kind of starts their first stuff on Gildan, but like you don't want to be that kind of person. You
didn't.
don't want to start that brand on Gildan. Like that was like
I get it though.
That
I
was
made
the
a brand whenever I was like 21, and
Yeah.
you know I did it wrong in the beginning. Like I got like fucking 60 minimum of one
Yeah.
shirt made, and it's like I just did so much stupid
Yeah.
shit. But like I was also like 21, 22, so it's
Yeah.
like I pissed away a bunch of money doing that,
Yeah.
and then. You know, I didn't even love what I was doing anymore, so I just completely stopped it. I just got rid of like all this back stock that I had.
Really?
Because it was just sitting there for years, but like I didn't want to ever sell it because like I don't want to promote that name or
Yeah.
brand anymore
No,
because
absolutely.
it's like that was but I love that I did it because like I learned a lot from it,
Yeah.
and it's like from there I quit that, and then you know, I was just like, you know, I'm going to start other shit, but once I just figure out a name, and then like 4 years later then the name came, but it's like it's interesting how I don't know, you have to go through all the bullshit to be able to
totally
to
and
build.
like we've gone through like our manufacturer like copyright laws, and like that's also why I want to be interested because like when we made that birds t-shirt, our manufacturer after we moved from making it to order like making a bunch of bulk of upfront to make to order because like I don't believe in fast fashion, I don't believe in overproducing, I don't believe in like just like ending up throwing away stuff. Like we make to order, like, and like I know that's like not how very productive, and it kind of takes a little bit to like get you your things, but I can promise you if you order something from us, while it will take maybe like 3 weeks for you to get it, like it will be such good quality, the design will be cool, and you're gonna feel good once after that 3-week wait to go out and wear it. And like
So all your stuff is like that, made to order.
oh absolutely, yeah.
That's an interesting aspect.
No, yeah.
Do you think that hinders, you know, some business?
I think it does to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So with the Sigs button up that we had, like that was like Brendan paid for that. Like he bought like a run for his store.
Yeah.
And we dropped it online before he put it up on the shop, and it took him a little bit to get it, and we got to him, and he sold out of them. So like yes, and like like it sucks. And like so it like takes a process and like
yeah.
But also we're college students. Like I don't have like
I
that
get
much
that.
savings. Like I wish like I did. Like I would drop everything, and it's also like it's just kind of like we're still learning. Like we want to know what like
I get that. That's
sometimes
why I was
hoodies-
asking,
Yeah.
because like it's interesting to hear like that end of it. It's like I never really like thought of doing that in the beginning is like doing like a made to order,
Yeah.
just because like usually people don't even want to fucking wait for anything. It's
No.
like, they're pissed if a Prime package takes 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's like me personally, I don't know if like if like I went to like order something and it was just like weeks out, I never really like thought about that. I would like look over it, but then like I understand like hearing you talk about why you do it.
Yeah.
Is it's interesting to like kind of think about that. It's like you guys are all young, and it's like you don't have a bunch of money
Yeah.
to like put out all this like good, because good quality shit costs money.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a lot of money
and we're
to
learning.
do all of it.
And,
Yeah,
like we're learning. Like sometimes like there's a design that me and Nolan love, and people just don't vibe with it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like we sell too. Like I had one of my favorite designs, which is kind of like a play on the word of Immortal. It's like I just added an apostrophe to the first I, and then I made like just an outline for the I am, and then filled the Immortal. So it just said I'm mortal, and it was one of my favorite long sleeves, and we only sold 2.
Yeah.
And then like we were on that grind, like sending it to rappers and everything, like send our clothes and stuff. Like we would try and plug anything. So we like our kind of strategy was like find the rapper, look through their follower list, find the person that's like in their squad or like tagged in like some of their pictures. Normally they have like 2,000 followers, 3,000 followers. You can DM them and be like, hey, I'll give you a free shirt, pass it along to like Trippy, pass it along to Smokey, pass it along to Don Tolliver. And we'll give you something, and we'll get something for them. So that was like kind of our business strategy, and it never really played out. It never like,
does.
It never kind of like carried on. And then one morning I was in New York, like I was just like I think it was during the summer, and Don Tolliver, do you know Don Tolliver?
Yes.
He posts on his story like him in the I'm Mortal long sleeve.
Oh yeah.
And I like obviously he's not tagging us, and obviously like, maybe many people don't know.
Yeah.
But that was crazy for me because like
It
that
is
we sold
crazy.
2 of, and Don Tolliver's fucking with it, and like that's just like a different level. And like he wore it around in the studio when he was with Check West, recording Jack Boys and everything. And like there's like I have this like whole segment of like I think like 2 minutes long a video of him like just rapping with the I'm Mortal long sleeve on, like lighting a blunt and everything, and it's just like it makes it a little bit worth it in those moments, even if it didn't sell.
That's the best way to say
Yeah.
it. Is like it makes it worth it whenever
Yeah.
you like see, like whenever I printed shit back then. I went to the Wiz Khalifa concert and I saw someone wearing my tank top,
Yeah.
and someone completely random, and I like walked up to him and I was like, "Yo, dude, where'd you get that tank top?" And he was like offended. He was like, "What the fuck did you say?" And I was like, "No, dude, I made that." Like,
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, like sick," but it's like like that shit will give you chills to do that, and it makes you want to keep doing it.
Like walking around Pitt, like I don't even know, like Immortal gets passed along, and like I walk around like our like Hillman Library, and I like see someone in one of my crew necks, and I'm just like turning real quick. I'm just like, wait,
How do you like kind of how do you put yourself apart from like everyone else? It's like everyone in the world has a fucking podcast now. Everyone in the world has a clothing brand. Everyone's a rapper. It's easy to get lost in the sauce. So it's like, what makes you different compared to other people?
can I be honest?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
not much. Like,
Well, I respect an answer
yeah.
like that, but it's just like what makes you how do you think about things to try to like? I didn't mean that as like I don't want you to think that I meant that as like
No, I get what you mean. Like I completely get that. Like
Yeah, it's like,
there's
how
so
do
many
you
streetwear
approach
brands.
it?
Like that's why it was so interesting for me, because like when I would go and talk to people, like family members, they're like, oh my god, it's so amazing what you're doing with like Immortal, and like people here to be like, oh my god, it's so amazing what you're doing with Immortal. But like in my head, I'm this kid back from Brooklyn. I know 1,000 different kids
Yeah,
that
it's
started
a-
a clothing
it's a
brand
drop
because
in a bucket.
they can, because in New York it's so common, but it's so interesting because here in like Pitt, it's not that common. Like I knew Pat like from Baker Bodega. I didn't even know he went to Pitt, but like I know he had his brand during then. I don't think we like coincided, but like for a lot of people, that's why I kind of took advantage of where I was, because I'm coming into a different atmosphere. A lot of these people, no offense to my friends back like originally, but they're not very fashion forward people. They just wore like whatever their parents bought them. Yeah. And so I was this outlet. I was this different look. I was like this person who they fucked with, and then also I was making kind of cool stuff that they were like, okay, I kind of want to wear that. I want to carry myself a little bit like that. I want to wear like this.
Well, how do you make your shit? That's what like whenever I said like what makes you different, I mean like whenever you're trying to think of designs and shit, like how do you approach what you want to do? Like what's your creative process? Because, and I'm asking because I'm genuinely curious, because every day I'm, scribbling shit in my notebooks and like coming up with stuff. Yeah. And it's like, it's interesting to always hear like how people do things like that. And for someone to have a streetwear brand, like even whenever I did my shit back like 9 years ago, it's like there was a fucking 1,000 back then. And now there's even more than that. So like for you being someone that's young and like, like obviously like you're into like what's like trendy and shit like that, like what's trendy, like like you're what's up in pop culture, but it's like how do you approach things to try to like be different a little bit? Because I struggle with that, like I want to like think of different ideas, and then I'm like, fuck, someone has something that's kind of like this, and it's like, I just completely just throw it away because it's like I don't ever want to be attached to something else. That's why like I fucking thought of my name and like Googled it, not a person has it, and it's
same
like
thing. I did the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like it's cool to like hear different people's approaches.
So I mean, like I said, I'm a film minor, so I get a lot of inspiration for films. But like being a film minor, you take a lot of like very interesting classes. Like a year ago, we made a long sleeve based off of a concept poster of this French film called Clio 507 that I learned in my women in film class. Like the smallest little things that I was like, I kind of vibe with that. So they had this like weird poster that was like kind of turned, it was like 1967 written on the corner.
I saw that. It's a white shirt you made with a black logo.
You put it up in OneUp. And,
I saw that on your Instagram, and I was going to ask you what that was because I didn't know what it was.
That's based off like a movie concept. Like
that's sick.
Like that's based off like a very small thing. And like I'm going to be honest, like our original, we have a big eye that we put on the back of our like sweatshirts or like t-shirts sometimes. That's Left Hand You of Palace. Left Hand You of Palace went to the manufacturers when he was starting Palace. Like I read this article and I love this dude because like he doesn't do descriptions. Like I can't like I'm not gonna I take from him. Like he doesn't do descriptions on his like products. He doesn't describe them. He just like writes jokes. Like I don't know if you've ever seen like the Palace page or like a product page. Like it's just jokes. Like so I take that from him, but he was like, he went to the manufacturer and he was like, I want this logo printed as big as you can on the back of this hoodie or like t-shirt. And I was like, that's kind of like, I just like how loud, like I like noise, I like going on, like city, everything, like loud. Travis Scott's loud. Like I like to be like a little bit more loud. And then
even in your style, you're wearing fucking plaid pants.
I'm wearing Palace pants. So it started off like that. It started off like a kid matching like his favorite streetwear brands. And like we developed so much because we're learning as we go. And so we started coming up with like individual ideas. And also we work with a lot of people. Like it's not just me and Nolan. Yeah. We work with so many different people.
Different like designers and shit. Like you guys aren't doing the graphic design.
No, Nolan does a lot of the graphic design.
Okay, yeah.
And I do graphic design. Like I work with Nolan to because I don't have the skill set, but Nolan has a lot of the skill set.
Yeah, I'm at the same place right now.
So I do a sketch and Nolan makes it out, and then Nolan has some ideas like based off of it.
Do you have artistic ability? Like, are you good at drawing and shit?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm the worst.
Sketches. No,
I'm the absolute worst. Like the dude who's designing this new shit that I'm doing, I showed him my designs and I was like, I tried to draw myself and it looks like a fucking demon, you know? Like,
yeah, but like that's why I like working with like Nolan so much, is because we have the same mindset.
Yeah.
While I can't draw, he's getting the idea that I'm trying to make, and then it helps him make
hard
some
to
ideas.
Find that.
No, yeah, and it's great. And then we have this new person who does all our like drawings. So she's an artist and everything. Her name's Gwen Valvona. She did like a little capsule for us in our backyard collective. And she's awesome. And so she does like I literally have you ever seen the movie Swingers?
Yeah.
So I love that film so much. And our spring summer collection is based off California aesthetic. So that's literally what the whole thing. And so in Swingers, there's a small moment where they're getting a delivery from like John Favreau's going to pick it up.
Yeah.
And the delivery company's called Pink Dot. And so I
Yeah.
did a little more research into it. And Pink Dot was like one of the first like Uber Eats or like Grubhubs of LA.
Really?
And so I was like, okay. And so I saw in the corner of like the t-shirt, like it's an old movie. So on the corner, it's like this little like blue triangle, this little like pink looking dude holding like a grocery bag, pixelated off the max. So I zoomed in and took a screenshot, sent it to Gwen. You like this design is gonna be super excited. I'm super excited for that one design t-shirt to be like coming out in January. Because she saw that one pixelated design and made it into something dope.
Yeah,
and
runs with it.
Yeah, and like Nolan came up with the SIGs concept. Like he did the SIGs concept himself. And like obviously like I tried to help him as much as I can, but like he just like he found a whole bunch of like vintage red cigarette branding and put Immortal on it. And we actually came up with the blue SIGs design because of Brandon. Like he was like, dude, you should totally do this in a blue version. And we were like, whoa, like maybe we should. And he also wants us to do like a green version, like for weed and stuff. So we might do that. Like we might work that out with him.
That'll be sick. Where did that hoodie you're wearing come from?
So this is actually so one of my close friends back in Brooklyn, she goes to Cornell. And
Ever heard of it?
exactly. But
you're an Office fan?
What?
You're an Office fan?
Oh, of course.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I know. I'm not as big as like other shows, but
That's
I
all right.
like The Office. But like her roommate is a fashion major, and so I got to know her roommate through a time, and her name's Georgia Manning. She's done like designs with us since like when we first started off, and I was like, we were texting because like we're friends. Like I was texting her over like the summer. I was like, yeah, we're like talking about doing a collegiate kind of like themed collection. She was like, oh, okay, like you want me to do something? I'm like, I mean, you can totally do something if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And she busts this out. And I was like, and me and Nolan were like, oh, this is sick.
Yeah,
like
let's
let's embroider this onto a hoodie. And it came out like that. So
That's dope.
it's like it's the people you know.
Yeah.
Like I use my dad's artwork a lot for like
Is
like,
that
paintings.
that white shirt with like the purple abstract painting?
Yes, so that's actually a self-portrait of my dad. That was
I
he
was
made that
wondering
for his
where
first
you
ever
found
gallery
that.
opening. That's his painting, and then on the back of the T-shirt, it's like in script Immortal. So I got him to write out Immortal,
Yeah,
like
that's
with
sick.
a paintbrush.
I like that.
Yeah, because like I mean, my dad, I love my dad. He doesn't sell as much as like I would like him to, but like I love his art.
Yeah.
and like people appreciate his art, and so I put it like. I mean, like paintings are expensive. Like they're over like thousands of dollars normally.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
But this is a $35 T-shirt. Like, and if you fuck with it, then like you buy it, and then like it reps my dad, and like that gets him like the stuff that he needs to. So
You paying him royalties?
yeah,
No,
no, he
just
doesn't.
kidding.
I try. I'm like, hey, you want something? He's like, you
What's
can
he
buy me
think
a
of
beer.
like what do your parents think about what you're doing? Like are they do they like it, or are they like receptive to it?
So my mom was happy that she got her money back the first time, but she was like, she was always like, okay, school comes first though, and like I respect that. And then I kept going with it, and like I don't like. She's very critical because she's like, you know, it costs a lot of money to start a brand, so she's like worried about like money and everything.
Yeah. It's also not fucking Barbie. you
No,
know?
it's not. It's not like it's
clothing
not like
brand.
I'm not breaking like
Yeah.
I'm not bringing in like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I barely make half, and like I
Yeah.
just
And it's
drop
understandable.
that to make more clothes. But then I like last fall I applied for American Eagle's like internship program for like merchandising, and I have no credentials. I have literally. I'm not a business student. I'm a political science major with like
Yeah.
also some economics on the side. Like I don't have the credentials, but I put Immortal down, and they paid attention to that.
Yeah.
And so I went through the interview process, and I got really close with like this dude who like does now he does all merchandising for like tops and accessories and underwear and stuff, and he loved the brand. Like I showed it to him, and he was like,
Yeah, I
he
know
thought it
someone that works there, too.
Yeah, he loved it, and I was like, and so it got me that internship, which is like a pretty exclusive internship. It's like pretty hard to get. Like when I was at the final round of interviews, it was really funny because like these kids would be going around from like Kent State and everything to be like, oh, I'm like a merchandising major, like literally a major for the job that you're applying for.
Yeah.
And it came to me, and I was like, I just said, oh, I'm poli sci, and everyone looked at me and was like, why are you here? Like, how did you even make it this far?
Sometimes you got to get some different shit in
No,
there.
exactly. And like I think that was what's interesting because like I didn't know much about merchandising, but like the stuff I was doing for Immortal, like working with a team, like working wholesale, like sales, revenue, like profit margins, everything that I do for Immortal is stuff that they do in their larger corporations. So they have to teach these kids these things. I have like already kind of like a base work idea of it because I kind of self-taught myself with it, like doing the brand and everything. So once she saw that I can get a career from it, then she was like, oh, Immortal's like tight. And then my dad's critical. He only really pays attention when I'm using his artwork because like he doesn't want it to be like flawed.
Yeah.
Like our first t-shirt, we made like a red t-shirt and we made like a white box. Like he had like this dude that was wearing like all these fruit on it, and he put like an eye in the middle of it, and I kept it like on a white t-shirt, but I kind of made it like a photo tee, and he was like, I don't know why you did that. Like that looks awful. Like that looks terrible. So it's like really that, but like I showed him like actually this most recent collection that we're dropping starting September 25th, and
those are the two pieces you sent me.
Those are gonna be spread out. So I actually have like all pictures of stuff if you're kind of curious.
I will. I'll look at it after this.
Yeah. But he looked at it and he was like, "Oh, this is like pretty cool." Like
that's good.
It's cool. It's cool to get like that attention from your dad because like I grew up, and I think because we work with a lot of artists, like we work with a lot of different artists, so I kind of got that eye from him because when you're like a 5-year-old and your dad's an artist, you're not going to a park. You're going to a gallery.
Yeah.
You're going to go and watch your dad sit at a painting for 20 minutes to stare at it.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn to like kind of stare at paintings too and see what's good and what's not.
Yeah.
And I guess like that's what I appreciate.
Yeah, you got more experience with it than
exactly.
A lot of the other people.
So, and yeah, I wasn't content about it like as a kid. Like I was bummed out. I was like, I want to go to a park. Like I want to go run around, and I would run around to the gallery, and he'd be like, shh. So
now, I mean, so like, what's like, what are your plans now? Like if you're still in school, you're about to be a senior. Like, I mean, let's say the clothing shit doesn't work out. What do you want to do?
I mean, I'm gonna keep grinding with these clothing things.
Obviously,
yeah. But if all else fails, I'm more than happy to go to law school and do like.
You still have an interest in that, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because like I mean, copyright and IP. Like if I can't like really be a part of like the creative design aspect, at least I can defend the people that have those like dreams and who can really make success out of it. Like I will fight for them, and I will make sure that no one takes from them.
I think that that's an interesting aspect of the business because like the people that send like the cease and desists and like how it like is that pretty much what it would be? It's like
it would be if someone sends you a cease and desist, or like if like H&M or like Zara or Forever 21 rips off like a designer brand or like some other brand's like idea or concept, you sue. Or like, and it's not just clothing, it's like it's film, it's art. So like if a painter steals from another painter, you can sue. Like I don't like I like my parents, like my dad's Spanish, so like he doesn't believe in like the American culture of like suing and everything, but like that's I don't know. I'm a big arguer, so I believed in like I think I could do a decent job of it, and also like I like the research. I worked at a law firm last summer while it was like medical malpractice. I still found it really interesting and fascinating. So,
I bet.
Yeah,
I feel like a lawyer would be an interesting job. I feel like it would be it would be a beast to do, but I feel like it would be super interesting. I feel like that would be it would be a unique career to get into for sure.
Career, especially if I can. Like I know someone who does like copyright at Polo. I was talking to her about it, and like it's a deep job, especially at like a big brand like that. Like,
I bet
you have to like it's not just like the U.S. You have to know all international laws with like copyright and IP to like make sure that nothing like no like fakes and everything like that causes a lot of like that's like a lot of their job, like making sure fakes aren't made and everything.
Yeah.
So
how did you get into streetwear?
So I never dressed well as a kid.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I was short and I had glasses and like I was kind of nerdy. And in 9th grade, I got in kind of with a worser crowd that my mom probably wasn't very ecstatic about, but they dressed so cool. Like they knew all like the cool sneaker brands. They were wearing Bape and stuff. Like they knew about Bape like before Bape was cool and everything. Like I bought these like old vintage like Ken Griffey Jr.'s like metallic silver like shoes off this kid for $5, and like I just like started hanging out with them, and they started teaching me everything about like what's cool, what's not. Like Supreme, that's cool. Bape, that's cool. Like BBC, like ice cream, all that stuff is cool. And like my parents wouldn't like really give me the money for that, but like, I'd save up, and I had to like adjust to it my certain way. And like I was like a short white kid in 9th grade, and I pulled up in some Air Jordan 6 like sport blues. My friends are like all hipsters back home, and they're assholes, and they just looked at my shoes and scuffed them. Like they just like because they don't know, they don't care, and I was like, okay, like you just like kind of killed my dream right there. I was like, I ran to the bathroom, I just started scrubbing as much as I could. So I kind of adapted into like what I could know, and my little brother was a reseller for a little bit, and so he always wanted to go to Supreme and everything. And my mom was like, he's not going alone. And so I didn't have money. Like I spent all my money. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm terrible with money. Yeah. And so she's like, you're gonna go wait in line with him. It's like it's a 6-hour wait in line. And so we would go and we'd post up and we'd be like, okay, if you come with me and you buy me all these things, I'll buy you a t-shirt. Like any t-shirt you want. I was like, hell yeah. So I don't care about like I love Supreme. Like I know people like hate on Supreme because like now it's like hypebeast culture and everything, but you have to really understand what Supreme comes from and who they are and like what it is to respect it. And like I would always pick, like my brother would always be like, why are you picking that t-shirt? Like why are you getting that long sleeve? Like that's not even like the one that like cost the most. I was like, because this shit's dope. Like this shit's like I would get like a pink like striped shirt. Any item that they had was pink. I always like that was always my first pick.
Yeah, that's why it's my
like,
color. Like
the subtle ones. Like I like the subtle designs. And that's how like it was just like it was a really good bonding moment with my brother that really kind of like grew my passion for it. And I would like start doing like hypebeast and I would start looking at like High Snobiety and Complex, and like I saw that's when I first ever interacted with like the Palace Triferg, like one
I
of
don't know what that is.
The Palace logo. That's what
okay.
they call the Triferg. And like one dude was wearing it like on his like sweatshirt. I was like, that's awesome. And like I would look for it for hours. I couldn't find it until it was in the Supreme store, and I was like, this is it. And I started doing deep rooted, like I started diving into Palace. Like I would like sneak out into the bathroom in the middle of class on Fridays at 11 and buy on my phone like while I was in the bathroom, like any item that I could, because I know it sells out so fast. When the Palace store opened up in New York, I waited 12 hours. I waited 12 hours because the security is so messed up. They were like, okay, if you have $100, you can go into the front of the line. So I just never moved. I got there at 5 a.m. I never moved because people would keep going, and I waited. I would like, cause I say I would not. I'm not going to spend $100 of my dollars that I saved just for this like store to go into a front line and then not be able to buy anything. So I waited, and I got the things I wanted, and like I have like the exclusive like New York hoodie still to this day, and like I don't know. I kind of like that hype, and also the people that are there, resellers, they're not really wearing it, but they're actually some of the coolest people. Like they have some super interesting stories that like are just fascinating to me. Like the way that like they grind and they like this stuff, and like some people know everything about the brand and some people know nothing about the brand, and sometimes there's like 12-year-old kids, but you're still like you're like helping out that 12-year-old kid, and like everyone like colludes together, like because New Yorkers are a bunch of tourists, so they're walking by, they're like, what are you waiting for? And like most of the time we come up with jokes like, oh, we're all about to go get our free condoms, like, oh, we're about to go buy flowers for our mom, and they're just like they believe it and everything. And it's what I just really liked about it. And I worked at this restaurant in Brooklyn called Bar Bruno, and that's also what really got me into like streetwear, because like the people around there. So there was one guy who's a skater. His name was John, and he's like such fuck you attitude. Like he's like so like rebellious and everything, and like he skated a lot. And he asked me like, do you know like about like because he saw I like Supreme. He's like, do you know anything about like Bronze 56K or like Dime? And I was like, no, not really. He's like, and he educated me. And then at like when I was going to college and I left, he brought me, because his old roommate was the founder of Bronze 56K. So he brought me an OG Bronze shirt with still the Gildan tag on it and everything. So he gave me those. He gave me a Dime hat, and that got me into like more of this like the skater wear, like which like I was very hesitant to do because like the skate community is so exclusive. They like I didn't want to intrude. I respected it. I really like the designs. I really like the logos. And like I wore it around like but subtly, like until I could really feel it. Like even like with Brandon, like it took me a while. I was like, dude, like I know Thrashers, like I can't really wear Thrashers, but like I sell my stuff in your store now. Like, can I buy one t-shirt? And he's like, yeah, dude, like no problem. And I'm a huge fan of like Lottie's skate shop in California. Like they do like a bunch of like custom. They like what they're known for is that they do a lot of like custom drawings of like famous like movie characters and everything, like Freddy Krueger and everything, and Dolly Parton. And I bought like some of those. And then Lottie's did like a Thrasher collab, and they also did one with OneUp. They did a Lottie's X OneUp tee that I copped instantly. I was like, Brandon, I need this. But yeah, I don't know. That's just like that's what kind of got me into it. And I found out a little bit more about, because Supreme's so like exclusive, like no one knows much about Supreme, in all honesty. like, because they copy everyone, like, Supreme copies and everything.
Yeah.
So one day at the restaurant I was working at, like, one of the waiters was like, yo, you like Supreme, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I get it for free. I was like, that's cat, bro. Like, how do you get it for free? And he's like, he points to this lady. This lady comes in every single day, 1 p.m., gets a glass of wine, some carnitas tacos, and leaves. And I was like, okay. Like, he just points her. And I was like, okay. So one day I'm bartending, and she comes up, and I was like, okay, I hear you're, like, the Supreme plug. She's like, well, not necessarily. And I was like, okay, like, tell me what it's about. And she was like, she runs a thrift store. I think it's called Mad Max, and it's on Union Street in Brooklyn. But she was like, I have a friend who works for Supreme. I was like, oh, what's his name? She's like, I can't tell you that. Like, he's not allowed to, like, spread that out. He's not even allowed to say that he works for Supreme.
Yeah.
And he just gets it for free and would just give it to her. I was like, oh, what does he do for Supreme? And she was like, he's a thrifter. I was like, what do you mean he's a thrifter? So apparently, every month, he makes a box of, like, thrifted goods that he finds. He puts it into a box. He sends it out to Supreme. If Supreme likes it, they give him $500 for one item. If they make it into another item, they give you $1,000. If it's a bestseller, another $1,000. So you can find, like, these guys, like, obviously are trained, like, they're thrifters. They've been going on forever.
That's a fascinating.
Exactly. $2,500 for, like, maybe a $5 tee you get at Goodwill.
Wow.
And Supreme's going to rip it off.
Yeah.
But they're going to be making more than anything.
Huh.
Yeah. Like, no one really knows that perspective. I just find that fascinating because, like, I also, like, I take vintage items into, into consideration when I'm making designs and everything. Like, it's all inspiration as long as you're, like, not completely ripping off people and stuff and kind of making it your own.
Supreme completely rips people off.
Yeah,
it's
but
wild.
sometimes they make their own. And, like, sometimes they make it into their own. And then
but
sometimes they can make those, like, kind of cool.
Sometimes it's, like, pretty blatant, though.
Yeah, no.
Just,
Sometimes
like,
it's, like, really forward. But, like, it's also, I mean, I like Supreme copies because you get to see those, like, vintage
Yeah,
stuff.
like, I like that, too.
Yeah.
I like that. I just... Supreme is a fascinating... it's a fascinating thing. The whole, like...
It is.
The weight that it all carries. And, if they didn't do the accessories, I would not give a fuck about them whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel that.
One, because they don't make Husky Kid friendly tees.
Yeah.
So I've never bought anything from them because I can't fit in it. But
I feel that.
The accessories are what's dope.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like they're making a Mortal Kombat machine.
They're making a lot of wild shit. They're making a Shure microphone. They're making like literally something like this.
It's crazy. Like
it's pretty wild.
My friends they wear Birkenstocks and like. I refuse to wear, like, I mean, because I'm a huge, like, I fuck with Supreme really heavily, but I make the joke, like, oh, I can't wear Birkenstocks because, like, Supreme reached out to Birkenstocks to do a collab with them, and Birkenstocks were like, nah, we're not going to taint our brand like that, and so I kind of find that funny.
I did hear that.
And my mom would, like, talk to me, like, because she, like, when she worked for Cartoon Network, like, the U.S. rep talked to Supreme because they wanted to do something like Rick and Morty. But, like, it's, like, so exclusive. Like, they're so low-key with it. And they're like, we get full realm. Like, we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Like, it's I don't know. It's fascinating that they can do whatever they want. Like, they're an escape brand.
You telling me about that person that goes to thrifting.
Yeah.
That's one of the wildest things I've heard.
Really?
I don't know why I've never. I guess I never really.
It's so low-key.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Now, what are your goals coming up with, like,
Immortal?
Immortal? Like, what do you want to do with it?
I mean, I really just want to make a brand where artists can feel like they can reach out to us and do stuff. I like collaborating. We had some really cool collaborations over the summer that were like nuts and that like kind of blew up for us really heavily. But like I really just want to I want to open up people's ideas to fashion. I'm around a lot of people who did not grow up with the same perspectives that I did, like especially like both like politically and like what you wear and everything and like being outgoing. Like I like it when like people come up or like DM us or like someone's like, dude, I walked around in my Immortal hoodie for like I walked around and I got like 15 different compliments. Like that makes my day. Like if that's all that matters. If I'm making that one person like kind of feel like it's a flex for them, even though like we're like low key, we don't have less than a 1.5 thousand followers. Like if people can enjoy that and people can really like just vibe with our clothing, then that's all I want to keep doing. I mean, obviously, I want to spread it. I want to put it into more shops. I was talking to like Brandon about that, and I was talking about Tyler because Tyler does like some printing for other shops, so he might help us like hook it up. I just want to like kind of go. I want to keep doing what we're doing, and like just at our own pace because I don't believe in buying your followers. I don't believe in like buying your likes. Like we don't always like sometimes barely we get over like over 100 likes on some photos, but like I know what I'm making. I think it's cool. It's like that's me, man. Like that's what Nolan.
If I could give you any advice, is
Yeah.
to never do that, because people could just tell. Like there's
No,
people
yeah.
around the city now, different podcasts that I know of that like
They just
they
stream.
just buy their followers.
They buy their streams too, and like that's
well,
whack.
it's like their Instagram. It's not even about their streams. Like
Yeah.
no one could see the streams of like the numbers.
Oh yeah, they can on podcasts. Yeah.
So it's like, but it's like you look at people's Instagrams and you're like, that ain't right. And then
Yeah.
you click on their followers and scroll down a little bit and you see that
Some
they're
random names.
all these
Yeah,
fake names with
name.
one account, one
Yeah, one
follower.
follower,
And it's
yeah.
like, bro, it's like it literally does not help you at
No,
all.
it doesn't.
All it does is help you once someone clicks on your profile and they're like, oh damn, they got 20,000 followers. But like, if that person's dumb enough to believe that,
Yeah.
then like you don't even want those people
No,
as your
you
followers.
don't want no.
But I don't know. There's no reason to like,
Yeah.
just let it grow as it grows.
What we actually found out, which actually was pretty cool, is that there's this cool dude who also made a brand at Pitt. His name is Alex. He made his brand called Alex Stupid Shirts, so like ass and an acronym. And he does this like really funny or this like clever like little donkey graphic that he like did. And he has 20,000 followers, and they're all genuine. They're all like
I
he has
bet.
a huge support. And I was like, dude, how did you do that? Like, I'm so curious. And he was like, Reddit.
I know everyone.
Streetwear,
Everyone
the
tells
streetwear
me,
startup at Reddit, any startup on like Reddit, that power is crazy.
Yeah.
Like with our SIGs button ups, like we put that out on Reddit, we had like 1,000 upvotes. Dude, we had people from like Australia, Denmark, all these people buying it. There's this dude from Australia who's like, I was literally like, he was the first person to buy the blue SIGs from Australia. He was like, I stayed up just so I could buy it. Like I wanted to make sure like it wasn't out. Like
You know Justin Boyd?
no.
Justin Boyd was he's a photographer in the city, but he was Mac Miller's photographer for a while.
Oh, wow.
And we did an episode. I'm good friends with him. We did an episode about how he got into photography and kind of like how he kind of got linked up with Mac.
Yeah.
And it was after Mac passed away, but it popped up on Reddit. Someone sent me a link that someone was talking about it on Reddit. And
Yeah.
I don't go on Reddit.
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. I don't know how to use it, but everyone says stuff about Reddit. It's interesting.
I mean, I was dumbfounded by it. Like me and Nolan are very like new to it, and so we just like the power about it is crazy. We got like so many different followers. We found like a lot of different people. A lot of people like that liked our like our vibe, and they just followed and represented us.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with you in the next couple of years.
I appreciate that.
I
Yeah,
hope that
so.
you keep doing this shit for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm hopeful. I think it will keep going pretty well. We've had some pretty cool stuff.
All right. The ending segment that I do with all my guests is an ending segment called Desert Island Questions.
Everybody gather up, please. I think this is a perfect opportunity for all of us to participate in some really intense, psychologically revealing conversations. So we're going to be playing Desert Island. Desert Island. Desert Island.
Desert Island Questions is where I give each of my guests 3 categories to take with them on a desert island to exhaust until expulsion. So, the first category is 3 things to watch. I'm pretty curious to hear of your favorite 3 movies.
So movies.
Yes.
All right. Definitely Swingers.
Swingers?
That's
That's
down.
a favorite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mainly because my dad, his golden years were in LA,
Yeah.
and like he was an artist in LA, so I watched that movie for the first time with him. Like
Yeah.
we had a projector screen in like our basement
the
in
vibes
like,
that he had.
Brooklyn. But like seeing the way that he reacted to this movie, and like we did that, like we all like it made no sense that like my whole squad of guys like would go to a party 3 hours after when it started. Also, we all took individual cars, even though we could have carpooled. Like they actually like all just hopped in their different vehicles. And like when the girls first questions in LA back then was like, "What kind of car you drive?" Like
it's a different world.
It was crazy, and like the nostalgia of it, I just kind of loved that.
That's
so
like when my dad watches, when me and my dad watch Dazed and Confused.
yeah, I love
It's
that movie.
like stuff like that. It's like, they like, I asked him, I was like, like this is what it was like, and he was like, oh yeah. He
Yeah.
like just driving around,
Yeah.
like just fucking, doing nothing but, having the best time in the world.
Yeah, I love
interesting.
that. I did a whole collection we did like a little mini collection with like the Swingers logo and everything, but that was like way back. The second one is the Darjeeling Limited, Have you ever seen it? It's
No.
Wes Anderson. It's not one of his most popular movies. It's about like it's
don't know
Owen
if-
Wilson, Adrian Brody, and Jason Schwartzman as they travel around India looking for like their mother who's been gone for like a really long time, and she's like become like a monk and everything.
He's probably like the least watched of all the the cult
Really?
directors. I've probably seen. I think I've seen like part of Steve Zissou, Life
Okay.
Aquatic, but did he do? He did Little Miss Sunshine, right?
No, he didn't do Little Miss Sunshine.
What else? What else did he,
He
do?
did Grand Budapest Hotel. He did The Fantastic Mr. Fox, Bottle Rocket.
Never
Steve
seen-
Zissou. Really?
I seen Steve Zissou. That's
Oh,
about
okay.
it.
He's huge in Brooklyn. Like all these like niche hipsters. Like
Yeah,
they like his vibe.
he's
And,
very
like,
hipster.
Yeah, he's super hipster. And so like growing up in Brooklyn, like
Who's the
all
dude
my
who does? Who's the dude who did Little Miss Sunshine? I can't remember
recall
either.
Exactly.
All right,
We actually have a design kind of based off Little Miss Sunshine for our like next collection too.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's kind of inspired by like the yellow van and everything.
All right.
But that's definitely second, just because I have two older brothers and like I don't know, I just really like the aesthetic of the whole thing. I thought it was like great, even though it's not one of his best movies. Third one, that's hard. Child's Play.
Really?
I like it because I'm not a big scary movie person, but I thought it was really funny and just like the
first
aesthetic.
one?
The first one, like the
Okay.
first ever one. I watched it like with my brother who like likes scary movies, and he was like, "Hope like it's not that scary of a movie," and like I thought
Yeah,
I just
fuck
enjoyed
Chucky.
it. That or like Halloween, like that. Those two, I just enjoyed those movies.
All right. Do you read it all?
I read,
Not-
because I was preparing for this segment. Because like I don't do as many video games, so I think I could do reading. I could do like 3 books if you
Okay.
want. Like
I
right now, I'm
mean-
reading "This Is Not a T-Shirt" by Bobby Hundreds.
Yeah, I have that.
Great book. I'm like halfway through it. I'm like, it's like
I didn't read it yet.
no, it's like because like I mean I find it kind of hard like now, especially at my age, like to read a book about like just to read a book in general. It's like kind of hard, but like when you find that book that you can just like click with, you can go through it like really fast. So
Yeah.
I'm going through that. So that's one.
The Hundreds was my first introduction into streetwear.
Yeah.
I have a fond relationship with the Hundreds.
Yeah.
And I haven't read that book yet, but it's interesting. I don't know. I'm so weird how things were because I was a manager at a clothing store for a minute down in Southside, and like I saw like all those brands and shit like that, and like I was always like trying to like buy the new shit and like
Yeah.
wear the new shit, but it's like I don't know, it's exhausting. And like I see all these like bigger name brands like collabing with like literally fucking everyone, like
Yeah.
the Hundreds. I used to love them so much, but now they do collabs with like everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
He talks about that. Like, in
I
his
hate
book.
it.
Yeah. He like because like
I got to read about it because
No.
right now I hate it. The
No,
only
I get
collab
it.
that he like I just don't get it. Like I feel like it devalues your brand.
you think collabs devalue your brand?
If you're gonna do it with every fucking person,
That's
yeah.
fair. That's fair. I feel like a niche one. Like I mean, I don't
Dude,
know.
everything.
We have a little time because I wanted to talk about like one collaborator.
Go
like,
ahead.
So, have you ever seen the movie American Animals? Oh fuck, I should have said that. That's my third one. American Animals is my third one.
American Animals.
American Animals. It's about this little group of like these four dudes. One dude named Spencer Reinhard, and like his other friend. I'm like tripping on the name. I'm sorry, Spencer.
That's all right.
But they plot to steal a $13 million book collection at Transylvania University. And the book collection is curated of.
Don't tell me the ending of this
I
because
won't.
I feel like I would.
Well,
watch
I mean,
it.
it's a true life story.
That's fine.
It's a real life story.
But don't
so-
tell me about it because tell me the plot,
Well,
but
it's
don't
kinda-
tell me the ending.
I won't tell you the ending. All right. Well, I'll try my best to like kind of make this, but the whole the book that makes it worth like $10 million is the first ever book of birds in America, and there's like these very big intricate paintings of birds.
Birds?
Birds,
Uh-huh.
which is crazy.
How old's this movie?
It's new. It's like 2017. But so because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Don't
but, like,
spoil it. I'll
I'm gonna
watch
try
it.
not to spoil, but it's kind of interesting because whatever. However the movie progresses, I guess you'll see. But I reached out to the main character or the main guy, Spencer
Really?
Reinhard, and he is
What
an
else
artist.
is he in?
What?
What else is he in?
He's not an actor. He's
No?
a real life person. I mean, he's the person that. It's a heist movie.
Yeah, but
So he was the dude in the heist, like in real life.
what is this? A documentary?
No, it's like so it's kind of in a documentary sense. It's really cool. So it's live action. Like Evan Peters is in it. He's really good. I don't
Yeah.
know, like Evan Peters,
I
but
know Evan Peters.
they reenact it basically live for live. But then they also
Huh.
have like the real life dudes very briefly talking about it.
Ah, okay.
And so Spencer is an artist who dedicates his life to painting birds, almost like that book that like in Transylvania University.
Wow.
And so after the movie, I was obsessed. I thought the movie was awesome. So I looked him up afterwards because, like I said, he's an artist to this day.
Yeah.
And does this. And I DM'd him because he only had 3,000 followers. I was like, hey, you want to make a T-shirt? He's like, yeah. And so like that's a Pelican T-shirt that we have that we're like putting up in OneUp. Like it was
That's
crazy
dope.
to me. No, yeah, we like FaceTime and everything.
See, I like that.
Getting to know his story and everything.
I like
it's
that.
nuts. Like he's in Colombia right now. He's like, dude, you got to pull up to Colombia. Like we're gonna do another collaboration, I think, for our spring summer tee. But like that was our backyard collective. So we worked with like three individual. Like we worked with various artists, but like three big ones.
Yeah.
He was like the second one, and I think his story is like watch the movie because like
I'll watch it.
it just adds to like his story and
that's
character so
understandable.
much.
You know, that's a collaboration that's understandable.
Yeah.
Whenever you're a brand that has like, you know, the weight of the hundreds, like they're
Yeah.
a huge brand.
I
They
hate
can
like Antisocial Social Club. I
It's-
think they're whack.
I just don't get why brand. I mean, I don't know. It's neither here nor there.
It's like to take, I guess, from their clientele or their
I get
customers.
it. I get it. But
And they
that's
probably
why
pay hundreds, like tons of money. Like, please just put your like Dynamite logo on us.
That's
Like,
what I'm
please.
saying. Like, I don't get it.
It's like how much you like what at one point do you allow yourself to be a sellout? Like do you consider Supreme to be a sellout because they like sold half their brand to the Carlyle Group, which is like they manufacture weapons
I know it's
like-
interesting, and that's what people
and where it devalues them.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't
sucks.
know. It's not. I don't know. That's why
Like-
I try to be a good journalist, and I try to like see both sides of it,
I was
and I
listening
do.
to like one of, like your earlier podcast with like Brandon and like Top Gun, and they're
Yeah.
like, if Zoomies approached them right now and was like offering them money, like they would sell it instantly. And like I talked to Nolan about this. I was like, what happens if like Forever 21 reaches out and wants to buy Immortal real quick? Like, what's our offer? And Nolan's like, $1 million. We're never selling it to them. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. With us, like, we don't care. Like, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. We like it, and like, sure, it would be cool to like sell it to like, I guess, get that kind of audience. But like, I'd rather just do it like on our own, put it up in like low key skate shops or low key like thrift shops.
So you're telling me that if they reached out to you and were like, "I want to buy this," you would say no?
It would really depend. Like, I don't want to taint the brand.
Don't say that you wouldn't say no because that's
I would say,
bullshit.
okay, I can't say no to $1 million because, like, you know, I could just go and make another brand with literally all that
Exactly.
$1 million. But
That's a good answer.
We've also, but it's kind of interesting because this is like kind of like our baby. Like, it's something that like no
I
one
get
can
it.
taint it with. Like,
I get it, but-
we learned and we developed with Immortal. Like, we grew up with
I get
Immortal.
it.
So like, that's like ruining your childhood. That's like ruining your
Bro,
like,
you got
college
$1 million
experience.
cash on the table. Like, I find it very, very hard for you.
No,
to be
absolutely. Like $1 million,
"Yeah."
like what's it like legitimate? Sure,
Yeah.
but like in like
I get it.
Theoretically, like even like $10,000, I could
I
do
know,
so
I'm
much
just
with
messing with
$10,000.
you.
But yeah,
So now you picked the.
Bobby
This is not a
Hundreds.
T-shirt.
Oh wait, what?
This is not a T-shirt. Bobby Hundreds.
Yeah, Bobby Hundreds, the Crucible.
Ah, the Crucible.
The Crucible,
Yeah, I
definitely.
know about that.
Um,
It's an interesting book.
yeah, and BFG, Roald Dahl.
What is it?
The BFG, the Big Friendly Giant, goes and saves every little kid's dreams. Where all like these big Roald Dahl is like British writer.
Don't know anything
Like he
about
did
it.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh,
He did
really?
Fantastic Mr. Fox. He did all those like James and the Giant Peach.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know who. I didn't know
BFG.
the dude's name.
Yeah, Roald Dahl.
Wow, that's
Awesome
interesting.
dude. I loved him.
All right, 3 things to listen to.
Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. That's just like the go-to album. Like, I'm a huge Kanye fan. All my friends are Kanye fans. Even though he's nuts, like, I don't know. That album, love that.
Did you listen to his interview with Nick Cannon?
Which one was I'm trying
No, it just came out.
He's done so many crazy things. Like, he's probably said he said so many awful things. Like, it's
No, but I mean, it's
No.
the only long form interview that I've seen him in a long time, and it's recent. It's with Nick Cannon, and Nick Cannon has like a video podcast, and it's actually pretty.
Really?
It's pretty fascinating. Like Kanye West is a little bit crazy for
Oh,
me, but
yeah.
like I was so blown away with just the entire conversation. It's worth listening to.
I've seen his David Letterman one, but I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah, you can't even go
Yeah.
by that though because
Yeah.
that's bullshit.
Oh yeah,
You-
it's definitely like orchestrated and everything, like Netflix and everything.
This
and
is like
Kanye.
literally Nick Cannon
Like,
just
really
bullshitting
being
with
upfront.
him. Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
okay.
good.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely
It's
check
on
that
YouTube.
out.
It's good. There's 2 parts of it. That's how long it is.
I'll definitely. Oh, I'll absolutely watch that.
Yeah. Okay. So
Definitely that. Cozy Tapes, ASAP Mob.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
okay.
really New York. That's like, I don't know. Everyone loves ASAP.
Yeah.
I don't know, being like, I don't know. I like ASAP. ASAP definitely like introduced the world to like Supreme and Palace and stuff, and like, or at least to like the rap community. And so that's really what it is. And then forgetting the exact name of the album, which sucks. There's only one song I hate on the entire album, but it's a Vampire Weekend album. It has one of my favorite songs on it.
I only know the one song.
Oh, really? It's like indie rock, so like that's kind of like
I know them.
That's what I take back from like my Brooklyn friends. Like they're all hipsters that never liked rap music or anything, but like, and some of my friends like here, like they hate rap music, and so whenever like I have to like aux and like put on something different, I put on like some Vampire Weekend, Arctic Monkeys. But yeah, probably Vampire Weekend.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. The second or the third to last question is a death row meal. So you can pick whatever you want to eat, wherever you want to eat.
Paella. My dad's paella because he's Spanish, and paella is a very traditional like dish and everything. And so
I thought you were about to say the fucking chain paella.
Chain paella.
Yeah, they have a chain that's called paella.
Oh God,
And,
no! Where's that? That sounds awful.
I'm pretty sure it's, or no, maybe
Is there
it's
one here?
papaya.
Papaya
Is that the chain?
Yeah, I've heard of papaya, but
Okay,
I don't.
yeah.
Paella. I mean, do you know what paella is?
I know what paella
Yeah,
is.
it's like okay, so, and like I always just like hold it very dear to me because, like, I did not have the most traditional. I mean, like compared to like all my friends, like I've never been to a barbecue, man. I had paella parties. All the Spaniards would gather in the backyard making paella as the kids ran around. Like that was my barbecue. So definitely my dad's paella,
Okay.
which I like hold dear to me.
All right. What's your favorite place to eat in the city?
In this city,
Yeah. I'm curious.
like bougie or like just like go to every time.
What? Either. Bougie. What's a
Bougie.
bougie one?
The Ace, like the Whitfield at the Ace. I went for my birthday once. They had like steak and like ribs and stuff. It was so good.
Never been there. What about a regular restaurant that you don't?
So it's new in Oakland. It's in South Oakland. It's called Centenario's Grill.
Never heard
And it's
of
like
that.
one of the most like other than Las Palmas. It's like the most traditional Mexican food. Like or like it's like because there's not that much. Like we have Mad Max and Steel Cactus around here, and I hate their food.
Yeah.
And I think it's awful. But Centenario's is like actually like people making like quality like Mexican food,
Yeah.
like street Mexican food, and like they have like such good lunch deals. Like you can get like you can get 3 different meals for $15.
That's good.
And like that for me, it just brings me back to home. That brings me
you
back to
can't
New York.
beat that.
Yeah, so I love them for that. So
All right. Second to last, you get to pick a question out of the Turner's Crate. Turner's
cool.
Crate has submitted questions from each of the
how do I
guests.
get one of their trucker hats? Because I saw online
Sold
they're
out.
sold. I want one so badly.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, literally.
I'm working
I think
on
it's so
it.
great.
I think that he's going to do another one.
Oh, you should. I loved it so much. All right, so what do you think happens when you die? Dean Bog, episode 102. Okay. What do you think happens when you die? Damn, that's like the. Well, the
heavy.
cool thing is like, I am my political science. It's the focus, so I'm a political theory focus. So it's mainly philosophy.
Okay.
I'm not like into like the traditional American and everything. Like it is philosophy. So, what do you think happens when you die?
It's a heavy question.
It is a heavy question. I think, you just die and that's it. That's all you have, but your soul and what you do is carried on through the people that you influence and the people that you like have in your lifetime. Like that's like with like everything and like global warming and everything in the world, like New York being underwater in like 50 years or something, like that freaks me out. That like that's why we really prioritize sustainability. That's why like I gave you those masks. Like we focus on like using a lot of like refurbished goods because we don't want to like pollute this earth with anything more than it already has by these big corporations. Because while it's not going to be us right now, it's going to be our kids or like our like not even our kids' kids. It'll be, but like that'll be my lineage someday. They're gonna have to deal with it. I'd rather try and prevent it so like they can keep living on my memory like when I die.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. I
Thank
like
you.
that.
Appreciate it.
The last question that I ask everyone is: if you could have a conversation with anyone alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Alive or dead? That's hard. James Shabaya. No one talks to James Shabaya. James Shabaya is by himself, and James Shabaya does somewhat what I do. Like if like Complex came out with an article that like kind of put you into the inside of Supreme in the beginning.
Yeah.
And James Shabaya was just a manager at Stussy. Like he wasn't even like really a skater. He just started a shop that like where skaters could feel comfortable and everything. And he doesn't even design the stuff. He puts a bunch of designers like that he trusts, like dudes who like used to work at Old Skate
He's an
Brands and everything.
orchestrator. He's
just
a
an
move
orchestrator.
maker.
And I mean, that's what I kind of consider my role as like an Immortal. Like I orchestrate because I bring on team members. I let go of team members. I try and like get them to do the ideas. Like I say yes and no, but like I really trust the artists that I work with to make the best things possible. And James Shabai is just a fascinating dude who like not many people know about, and he doesn't want to be known about that. Like he just wants to do his thing. Like he's making his brand. Like he knows what he's doing. I just like even like 5 words with the dude, I'd be like ecstatic. Like that's definitely him.
It's a good
just
answer.
To, like, learn.
All right, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Take a second and promote everything you want to promote.
All right, cool. Our College Dropout collection is coming out. It starts the September 25th, and it's 3 weeks long. We're dropping some pretty cool like items. We have a collaboration with our studio. We have a collaboration with local Pitt rapper Pick Patek, and then we also have a collaboration with an artist that we worked with over the summer called Niles Tatum. Just keep grinding. Shout out OneUp for like literally blessing me and also putting me in touch with you. Shout out Brandon. Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah,
appreciate
shout out
it, man.
Brandon.
Yeah, shout out Brandon.
Go check out the new OneUp.
Yeah, literally.
OneUp is
new shop is crazy.
Yeah, if you have not heard yet, OneUp Skate Shop has moved recently, and you can go and check them out right now. They're at 1010 Freeburg Street, down by the stadium.
It's worth the hike.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I need to get down there though for sure. But I appreciate you coming on for
thanks
sure.
for having me, man.
Absolutely, you're an interesting dude. I think that I'll be interested to see what you put out.
Appreciate it.
Coming up. Everyone else that's listening, I've been, I'm plotting. I got a lot of shit coming up too. So October's around the bend. That means we got Halloween episodes. So, get ready for that. I decorated for Halloween. It's nice and spooky
scary
in
clowns
here.
on here.
Yeah, well, those are up all year round. But yeah, thanks for listening. Call you right back.